the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, you know, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
That's political commentator Bill Maher finally admitting he was dead wrong about Trump's tariffs. He said the economy would collapse, and instead we're looking at record highs. Trump's policies worked, and while Maher admits defeat, the smug media class is choking on their own spin, trying to explain it away. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the cracks in the left's narrative are starting to split wide open. Because when even Bill Maher has to admit Trump was right, you know something's shifting. I mean, for years they said Trump's economic plans would destroy everything. Now he's closing deals with the EU that finally put America first, and the market is hitting record highs. Here's Maher doing something we rarely see from liberals, owning up to being completely wrong.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, oh, you know, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me. But that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, your shot doing nothing, not engaging, has zero chance. Mine, this guy, I'm telling you, I know this cat a lot better than I did before. He's a people person. He talks to people. You have to keep the lines open. The stupidest thing the left does, and this dinner is a perfect example of it, is having this attitude toward the right that we won't even break bread with you. We are so far above you that we won't even sit down at the same table with you.
Look,
that is their attitude, and that makes me sick too. I'm glad I break bread, and what makes them hate the left so much. They think that they're deplorables. We're deplorables, and you won't even sit down to dinner with us. Well, good luck. See how far that gets you.
You know, I was wrong is a phrase you'll almost never hear from the left unless they're caught in a scandal, but here even Maher had to face the facts. Trump's tariffs didn't tank the economy, they supercharged it. And now he just landed the biggest EU trade deal in history. The same left-wing pundits who said this deal was impossible are now trying to do everything they can to downplay it. $750 billion in energy exports, $600 billion in EU investment, zero tariffs on US goods. It's a blowout win. The same tariffs they mocked are now forcing Europe to play ball. Maher sees it, the rest of the left is still in denial, which is why they're tanking in the polls. Here's CNN with a polling disaster for Democrats that proves Maher might be the only one on that side paying attention.
Dems, and let's look at their net favorable ratings. Whoa. Woof. I mean, my God, you know, we mentioned CNN. We had that poll come out a little while ago on their net favorable rating. They were 26 points underwater. You think that's low enough? How about we go even lower? We'll go to this side of the screen. I'm going to walk over here. We go to the Wall Street Journal, minus 30 points underwater. Their lowest on record. These polls have records going all the way back since the early 1990s. And when it comes to the Democratic Party's net favorable rating in both the Wall Street Journal poll and the CNN poll, the Democratic Party is breaking records in the way, Jessica Dean, you don't want to break records.
You know, when CNN starts waving the white flag on Democrat polling, you know things are bad. Even Quinnipiac has congressional Democrats at 19% approval. That's not a slump. That's political hospice. People are sick of the inflation, the crime, the open borders, and the smug elitist attitude from supposed experts that says voters are too dumb to notice. Maher warned about this exact thing. Constantly reacting, sneering, and pretending to be smarter than everyone else doesn't win elections. Here's FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr explaining how Trump blew up the media machine that kept that arrogance alive for decades.
Yeah, something really significant is happening right here. And it goes back to President Trump. When he ran for office again, he ran directly at these legacy national broadcasters. And for years, people cowed down to the executives behind these companies based in Hollywood, in New York, and they just accepted that these national broadcasters could dictate how people think about topics, that they could set the narrative for the country. And President Trump fundamentally rejected it. He smashed the facade that these are gatekeepers that can determine what people think. And everything that we're seeing right now flows from that decision by President Trump, and he's winning. I mean, look, PBS has been defunded. NPR has been defunded. CBS is committing to restoring fact-based journalism. And you see it, everything from, Joy Reid is gone at MSNBC. All these things aren't isolated pinpricks. They go back to this emperor has no clothes moment where President Trump stood up to these legacy media gatekeepers, and now their business models are falling apart.
I mean, this is the part the left really can't stand. Trump didn't just beat their candidates, he beat their entire media ecosystem. The legacy networks that thought they could set the narrative for everyone forever. But Trump stood up to them, broke their spell, and now they're imploding. Funny what happens when you cut USAID and government subsidies. The whole game is changing because Trump refused to play by their rules, and now even people like Maher are being forced to admit it. But let me know what you think. Is this the beginning of a major shift in the media and Democrat narrative, or just more proof Trump's already won that battle? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!